Hi, I'm Kurt Plattenberger. I run the airplanesandrockets.com website, and this is part 5 on a series I'm doing for a demonstration on how to cover an airplane with a Silkspan and dope finish. This is the Manzano Laser Works Sopwith Camel biplane, and I've used the silk medium weight Silkspan for covering with nitrate dope thin 50/50 for the initial attachment. And at the end of the last film, I had gotten the airframe totally prepared and had done a couple of small areas for demonstrating just the application technique, and I said I'd come back and show you the finished work. Real quickly before I do, I'd like to mention the use of these tweezers. They're almost essential for doing this work. They have a flat tip that's about 1/4 of an inch wide, and they're excellent for being able to get in while you're trimming with the razor blade, for pulling on a piece of tissue or Silkspan when you can't quite get to it, or in these cases where you have overlapping pieces going onto other areas that are already covered and you can't get your fingers down in there. It's nice to just take these tweezers and you can grab the edge of the Silkspan and just tug on it to get it tight as needed. Out here on the edges you have plenty of working room, but this just helps reduce the opportunity for error. I'm going to hold this up for you real quick and just give you a quick look around the frame. I know you won't be able to see with a lot of detail, but you can see pretty much the finished work, the overlapping on this side. To recount the way it was done, the bottom covered first, then the sides, then the top. We tend to work from the bottom up so that the seams end up being more invisible because you can't see the hard edges from the top. If you look from the bottom, you're more likely to see the edges. And also, you generally cover from back to front so that the seams end up running towards the back of the plane, so when you look at it from the front on, they're not quite as visible. Now with this kind of a paint and dope finish, those seams are going to be made invisible generally anyway, because you can have enough dope over the overlap areas that you can sand it smooth. If you're using one of the iron-on finishes like Monocoat, the same technique applies, because with that you cannot make the seams disappear unless you put trim tape over it. And that just is a general guideline on how to do it. It's the same thing when people put vinyl siding on the side of your house. They overlap it so that the joints aren't viewable from the primary viewing point, say the front door or the back porch. I'm going to continue to give you a quick look around here. Now, this is electric powered. The battery will sit up against this stop on the front from underneath. And I've just left this open area here. It'll make it a lot easier to get to the battery for replacement, and it'll also facilitate the cooling, which really shouldn't be a problem here because I've got the open cockpit and plenty of opportunity for the air to escape. But this just makes it a lot easier. I don't have to bother with putting any kind of a hatch on it. On the back, I like to put my hinges in first to make sure everything's nice and bind free. And when I do the finish, I don't have to worry about the pin hinge areas getting infiltrated with either the glue during installation or the dope. So I'll just run the pins through these when I'm ready to go, just to clean any accumulation out of there. And then I'll insert the pins and just take a small pair of needle nose and twist the end a little bit so it can't come out, and everything will be fine. It makes covering so much easier doing it that way. And so the next step is going to be actually starting the full brush coats. I'll use 50/50 thinned nitrate dope for that, for reasons that were explained in one of the earlier films that has to do with the shrinking properties of nitrate versus butyrate. And once that's all done, I'll have it all nice and sanded when I come back again, and I'll be at the point where I'm ready to put the base color coat, which on the Camel is going to be an olive drab butyrate dope. And again, on an earlier film I talked about why I'm using butyrate over top of the nitrate. So I'll see you back in probably 3 or 4 weeks by the time this is all ready to go, maybe a little sooner. And we'll finish up then. Thank you.